Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, managing attorney of the JQK Immigration Law Firm, headquartered in Los Angeles, California, helping people from across the world come to the United States to live, work, and have a good time and take things to the next level. Thank you for joining us again on our daily, every weekday, Monday through Friday, Q&A session where we take questions about immigration law, things that you're worried about in a general educational format, not case-by-case basis. You should consult with an immigration attorney in private for something like that. But we're taking the questions here. So we're live every Monday through Friday on TikTok. Immigration Lawyer John is the handle name. Wednesdays we're live on YouTube, which is what we're doing right here. Those joining us on YouTube, feel free to throw out your questions. And the recording here will be done and posted on YouTube, along with being on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, clips of this stuff, other recordings not found anywhere else, on YouTube, some everywhere. So what I would recommend if you're watching this, go to JQK Law Firm. That's the YouTube page. That's a good hub for getting the latest information about immigration law that we're putting out there. But if you're on TikTok, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, and have this community where we can answer questions and keep this alive. I've helped so many people, and I say that happily because so many people contacted me saying it helped relieve some of the pressure they had, knowing that some alternative exists. And that's what I'm happy to be here for. I want to use this service and this time for just that purpose. So Wednesdays we're on YouTube Live. Thank you everyone who's watching over there. We'll get started in a moment as people start coming in the questions start coming in right here at 5 until 5:30 p.m. Today is what, Wednesday, so we got a couple days more left in this week. But it's a kind of a crazy time. It's just a lot of things that are going to be happening in the immigration world. There's these rumors that President Trump is going to be changing the employment-based categories, L1s, H's, student visas, even OPT, all that kind of stuff. If you have those kind of visas, you know what I'm talking about. They're going to be cracking down potentially on China and Communist Party membership. They're changing the asylum rules pretty drastically. And it's all talk or rumors. We don't know exactly what's happening, but they're doing everything they can to make things difficult and make it difficult to access information, even whether it's in the courts where they're hiding information, or whether the change in regulation just announced today that they're not going to be openly, in the old system where they notify us when they're changing the rules. They're not going to do that. We have to actively search to see when they're changing regulations, which is just the kind of sinister kind of stuff that they're doing, unfortunately. But that's the stuff we're dealing with. I can't talk about general timelines, give you a heads up, because we don't know about that. Every case is different. But Addings asks, hi, can my mom apply for US citizenship? She is 70 years old but can't speak English. Thanks. Okay, so there is an exception for the language requirement for citizenship. One is if you have some sort of mental infirmity, for example, some issue that causes you to not be able to learn the English language. A doctor has to fill out a certain form and describe it, and then it's up to the officer whether to accept that or not. You should consult an attorney in private to review the medical history. But there's another exception where if a person has had a green card for a set amount of time, and it varies between 10, 15, 20 years, and they're above a certain age, they may either do the test, the English language test, or I guess it'll be just a language test, in their home language or not require it. But it's case specific, so I need to know a lot more information about your grandmother who's 70 years old who wants to apply for citizenship to see if any of these would apply to her or not. And as well as other factors, immigration, the citizenship test has a lot of stuff. So you need to consult an attorney to look at your background, see if it fits within one of the categories of the exceptions, or whether the mental health infirmity or whatever the issue is that prevents the person from learning English is acceptable, or you think it may be acceptable to a USCIS officer to get that approved. So that's something you should definitely consult the lawyer, talk about, but these exceptions do exist for the language requirement. But sometimes they're not as strict too. So I've had grandmothers come to me and we couldn't do anything for them, but they practice 100 questions, they practice a conversation. Hi, how are you, this is where I live, this is where I'm, and they get approved. So it's not always that bad. It kind of is luck of the draw of how strict the officer wants to be. Luz Garcia asks, what is the important highlight when my husband, if I'm Mexican and I'm helping into a visa? What is the important highlight? I'm not sure what your question means. I'm not sure what you're asking, but consult with an attorney in private and see what's going on with your case. I don't know. Every case is different. There's a lot of things that need to be discussed and reviewed. So we got a question on YouTube. Diharik asks, when Indian consulate opened up, I'm a conditional relative one is affected. Well, I don't know. These, as you know, India is shut down right now. So when is it going to open up? When is India going to open up? When are things going to open up there? A lot of this has to do with the conditions on the ground in that location, in that embassy, and how they're dealing with stuff. So, they can't open the embassy up if the rest of the city and country is shut down. So that's the answer to that question. You got to be patient and just check the U.S. Embassy website to see what happens. It's all going to be dictated with the situation on the ground and their fears of the coronavirus. So that's the reality of that situation. User 571 asks, hey, my marriage-based green card interview canceled in April. When do they schedule again? Their focus right now is rescheduling citizenship cases. Maybe they'll start scheduling green card marriage cases in July or after, but they still don't know. That's a secondary priority. Number one priority is citizenship cases and things that have a deadline. For example, the diversity visa lottery, the green card lottery. For a marriage green card case where there's no expedited reasons, you just have to be patient. It's not clear how long it's going to take. Thank you, Dari. So you just got to be patient on that. Singh asks, can a green card holder apply? Is a green card holder, I'll change your question. Is a green card holder able to apply for a waiver I-601A for a spouse? Yeah, 601A is a waiver when someone spent unlawful time in the United States. By unlawful, I mean they overstayed a visa or they enter without a visa and stay in the United States. A U.S. citizen spouse or lawful permanent resident spouse are qualifying relatives for that waiver, the 601A waiver. So it's possible, but it's a complicated process. You consult with an attorney in private to review the extreme hardship that you need to show, excuse me, that your spouse is going to feel if you are separated or your spouse is forced to move and live in your home country. So that's something to look for. But yeah, just the basic question there, a green card holding spouse is a qualifying relative for an I-601A waiver of unlawful presence. Luis Campos asks, if I married my boyfriend, me being SILE, I don't know, Luis, I gotta get more information on that. Just schedule a consultation. And Bruce TV says, I'm a silent case. I've been waiting for 4 years. When the interview will be, well, it just depends whenever they get around to you. So make sure to update your address if you've moved, because if you move and they might have scheduled an appointment for you, but there's no timeline of how long it's going to take. You just have to be patient. Now, Luis follows up. So Luis was talking about getting married to his boyfriend, and his SILE says, can I request a green card? Well, it depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on how you enter the United States, what status your fiance has, what your financial conditions are, what your health conditions are, what you said in previous applications about things. So, Luis, it's impossible for anyone to answer the question here. They'd be dishonest, they'd be lying to you just to make you feel good. This is something you got to sit down with your fiance, with a lawyer, go over your case history, your documents to see what's up. Because there's like 10 or 15 different things that have to be in a row for that to happen. If one of them is off, it's not going to happen. And this is not the place to go into your personal details. But yeah, just schedule a consultation. You can always email me. It's info@jqqlaw.com. Note there are consultation fees in my office. Just email me, remind me what your case is. I'll let you know at that time how much the fees are and all that kind of stuff for the consultation. Sammy asks, let me go back to YouTube. Darek asks, when will Indian consulate give interview? It's been 8 days plus. Well, I already answered that question. You just have to be patient. Let's see. Sammy asks, if I adopt my adult nephew, can I bring him over from London? No, the adoption doesn't work that way. There's no way around it in that way, so that wouldn't work. Singh says, thank you, I appreciate it. You're welcome. Bruce Steve said, how long can the asylum case take? However long it takes. There's no deadline for how long it takes. If you feel it's taking too long, you can file a lawsuit and say they're delaying my case, but this is all stuff you should consult with your attorney or another attorney in private. User 571 asks, hey, Mr. Base, I'm not sure, Base green card, I don't have document anything without PIC because everything closed, so what do I do? I don't understand what you're saying. You got to type out your question better to make it more clear. Alejandro asks, any Daca input? Thanks. No, nothing new on Daca. We're still waiting on it, but I did do a video. You'll watch it on YouTube. It was a clip of one of our lives. If you are on YouTube already, go to my most recent video. That's the most recent update that there is about Daca. Just check out Daca My Thoughts, the most recent video I put on YouTube. It might be helpful, but there's no new information that I know of. Sahara asks, hello, my brother's fiance had interview and her medical exam. She's still waiting, been almost 5 months. Yeah, that's normal. Just gotta wait. Sometimes things take a while. Now, I don't know their specific case. They might have some weird situation with their case that causes it. There's mistrust, there's lying, there's bad documents. Probably not, but without knowing all this kind of stuff, it's impossible for me to answer. But in general, you just have to be patient. Sometimes things take a little bit longer. Okay, so Ashley asks, how much are your consultations? Well, it depends on the case, because sometimes we do half an hour consultations, sometimes an hour, sometimes things are just general hourly because there's a lot of research involved. So Ashley, you got to email my office, info@jqqlaw.com. Describe what the immigration issue that you have is. I don't handle every case, so it might be a case I don't even handle. But once I have a grasp of what you're looking for, I can let you know what kind of consultation is needed and break it down for you there. Precator asks, hi, I am green card last September. So I think you're saying you got a married green card last summer. How long is my husband? You gotta type out your questions better. It's incoherent. So please redo your question. You know, put it in a proper sentence, and we'll see what we can do. If it's about timelines, I'm not going to be answered, so bother retiming. Timelines are unknown. And Sam Chiari says, I'm here for 9 years. What is the best choice for me to stay in U.S.? I mean, that's a personal decision. If you want to stay, you want to stay. If you want to go, you want to go. That's not a question. Some random person on a video screen can answer where they know nothing about you. So think about these kind of questions. Think about your personal life and do whatever you want to do. You know, it's your life. Okay, so yeah, keep the questions coming. Again, these timeline questions, we don't know what's going on. It's this coronavirus situation. They're backed up. There's Trump issues going involved. They're trying to bother people with cases. There's just a lot going on. So it's not really possible to give that kind of answer to questions about timelines that you're asking about. But, you know, some cases are moving faster. Some are going slower. That's just the way it's going. You know, I got word that the U.S. Embassy in France is starting to schedule interviews. I think in June even, as close as, I mean, to July, as close as that for some green card cases. Depends on the type of case, depends on the country. As you know, even in America where you're doing green card cases, there are cities that are shut down. So imagine San Francisco announces that they're going to completely shut down things again. Well, the immigration office is not going to open in San Francisco either. But maybe if you're in Florida where things are open, or in Texas, they will. So all these questions, it varies. Jet asks, premium processing for I-140 is resumed. Generally, not every type of I-140, this is our employment-based green card cases, not every type of I-140 could use premium processing, but it was restarted in June. M. Scari follows up, what is the best? For example, apply for asylum or green card or what? I mean, it's whatever you can get. It's not a really option. It's like, what's better, Ferrari or Lamborghini? That's not even a good analogy. The question is not appropriate because it just depends on what your options are. It's not something I can answer. Kay Laura asks, how long after marriage to a U.S. citizen should you start a process for a green card? Well, you should have started a process before you even got married. So in my case, most of the time, I tell people, come to me first. Let's talk about the case, prepare it, so you don't jump to make any bad decisions. So as soon as possible, you should start talking with the attorney to analyze your case and to prepare it. Now, how long you want to wait to actually file the case is all this up to you. But you should talk with the lawyer first as soon as possible. Talk to a couple lawyers to plan it and have a strategy for what's going on because things vary drastically and you want to do things the right way to prepare the documents properly for you get married, for example. I have a lot of times people do something and then they come to me and sometimes it's too late. So you really just should talk with a lawyer in private first. You know, Darik, I can't answer your question. Again, I answer pretty clearly. Whenever the embassies are opened up, that's when it happens. So I don't have an answer for your timeline question. That's that. Okay, so we got a good group in YouTube. We got questions coming in from TikTok. Sahara asks, hi, my dad is a U.S. citizen, filed for my brother and family from Afghanistan. How long does it take? I don't know. It depends on if your brother's single or is married, and then there's issues with Afghanistan. You know, consult with an attorney in private because there's some more things you have to know. If you have an Afghani case, you need to prepare for it beforehand with regards to documentation and being prepared for what's going to happen at the embassy. But it depends on a lot of different factors. Just consult an attorney in private about timelines. I can't answer that here. Jat says, my perm has approved yesterday. I will contact you through email for the next step, I-140. Sure. I mean, the I-140 is still a petition for your employer to submit, so they would be submitting it. The portion I would be involved in is the I-485 adjustment of status. That's where you could hire your own attorney, but if you want that portion, let's do it. Sarah says the married, so that's the F3 category. There's something called the visa bulletin, and it has the timelines for how long things could take. Go check the visa bulletin to see what cases are being approved right now. But no, that timeline on the visa bulletin, all these time things, they switch around. So there's no good answer. We could talk about it generally, but I could say one thing and then completely something different happens. And that's just the way it works. So it's not a reliable answer, but if you want to schedule a consultation, official consultation, you know, your dad and your brother, one of them should email me. We'll schedule a video call and we could talk about what this case means, how to prepare for it. Again, the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan puts case in what's called administrative processing. If you go into that, you're stuck. And so you got to know how to deal with that as well. We got a couple questions on YouTube. Alejandra asks, I have Daca with unlawful entry to the U.S. Can my cousin, who is 24 years age, petition for me to take? No, your cousin cannot do anything for you. It's a completely unrelated family matter. Maybe if they file an employment case, but you need to have a waiver for what you're doing, so it doesn't look good in that scenario that you're going for. Yulin asks, is there any update to when application support center is going to open? No, I've just got to wait to see when they announce it. They'll send you an appointment notice when that happens. So application support centers are places where they do fingerprinting. They've been closed because of COVID-19. Jay Zamor asks, will my husband have to leave the country if he entered with a tourist visa, or can he receive it here? So if you had lawful entry to the United States and you're applying for a green card adjustment of status based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, you do not have to leave the country, but it depends on what other things are going on in your case. So you need to schedule a consultation with an attorney, but one of the requirements to be able to file for a green card while in the United States, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, is if you don't have status right now, is if you enter lawfully, then overstayed. That makes it possible, but I don't know if that's going to be happening with your case. You just gotta, schedule a consultation and go into more detail and see what's going on with that. Sarah says, thank you very much. We always have great videos, really helps. You're welcome. Yeah, definitely check out the Visa Bulletin. You're gonna be in the F3 category, and then check the date that your dad filed the case. That's a priority date, and I'll give you where you are on the timelines. But these timelines are not reliable, and again, a case from Afghanistan, a case from Iran, a case from Pakistan, these cases get hung up on administrative processing. You see huge delays, so you got to prepare for that, as well as documents. Sometimes in some of these countries, they don't have all the documents ready, so you want to get started on that soon to get it going. Haas says, please use a microphone. Has anyone else having problems hearing me? Let me see, did I have the Bluetooth on? No, Bluetooth's off. It's always worked well. I've used the microphone before, but it didn't sound good, so I stopped using that. I have these headphones right here, actually. These AirPods, but they don't. I found that people hear me better on this kind of stuff. We have a question here, Darik, what international airlines? Darik, I don't have any answers about timelines, especially what international airlines are doing. Just go to their websites and ask them directly. I can't help you with any of that. So I won't be able to answer any of your questions anymore if you're gonna ask about timelines. All right, so hence I had no problem with voice. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, voice sound isn't coming good. Please let me know, because I don't want to just talk here and not get you. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, please email me. My email is info@jqqlaw.com. And since your dad and your brother would be the clients, I would need to connect with them and do the video consultation with them to discuss it. If your family speaks Farsi, I can speak Farsi with them as well to make it a little bit easier. But yeah, that's that. So, a brother, the difference is, this is a very important thing I want to talk about, actually, because I've seen people get hurt really bad over this situation. I had a woman who called me up yesterday, and she hung up the phone before I could explain it to her properly, because she just wasn't having it. But the reality is this, if a parent wants to apply for their adult child's green card, if their parent is a green card holder, they can only apply for an unmarried child above 21. So let's say I have a green card and I have a kid who is 22 years old. If that kid is single, I could apply for their green card. But if that kid is married, I cannot apply for their green card. You can't do that. However, if I'm a U.S. citizen, I can apply for the child's green card, even if they're married or if they're single. So that's very important. Because I had one case where some guy came to me, the father was a green card holder, filed for the son, and then the son got married, and that cancels out the case. And what was sad about that case was that the father became a citizen two months after applying for the son. But the son got married before he became a citizen. So if the father who had a green card got citizenship, then applied for the son who's married, it would have been fine. But because the son got married, it destroyed the case that was existing, and they had to wait another 7 or 8 years or 9 years, whatever the timeline is. The key takeaway from all this is that a green card holder can only file for an adult single son, not a married one. Getting married while the case is pending destroys the case. But a citizen can file for a single or married. And one strategy that becomes important, that woman I talked about, I was trying to explain it to her, but she got off the phone, is she was in the process of getting citizenship. And her daughter was single. She was going to apply for adult child. And so she was waiting to get citizenship to file for that child. And I was trying to explain to her, I said, no, file for that single child right now, get citizenship, because when you file for the adult child as a green card holder, you're in the F2B category, F2B. But once you become a citizen, the case can, and I say can, become an F1 category. Which, so if the child gets married, it's still okay. That'll go to F3 category. But the important thing out of this, the line for an adult single child of a green card holder is a little bit faster than the line for an adult single child of a U.S. citizen. So you want to start the case while you're a green card holder, and then once you become a citizen, you can request under this rule called the Child Status Protection Act, CISPA, to remain in that category for adult child of a green card holder. And by doing that, you're going to be a little bit faster, maybe even a year or so from last I checked. Well, I haven't checked in a while, but it's almost a year faster for an adult child of a single child of a green card holder to get the green card than a U.S. citizen. So there's a lot of strategy, and this is the kind of stuff we got to talk about to plan this stuff to see what works and what doesn't. And it's not the kind of stuff you typically pick up from reading the forums and stuff. It just comes from experience. So just consult with an attorney and look into this stuff, because there's all these nuances in the immigration laws, because it's a political thing. The laws change frequently, that you got to look into. It can make a big difference. So we got some questions on YouTube really quick. Alejandro Lopez says, Mary the Citizen, thank you for your time, location California. Alejandro, you're welcome. I mean, you might be able to get what's called a waiver if you did lawfully, but schedule a consultation and we'll do a video consultation and we'll go into it. We got a bunch of questions I think that were going when I was talking right now. Let's see. Ha says, you're the best, thank you. Hansari says, when you went to apply for work permit in Social Security for asylum case. Well, for asylum case, you could file for a work permit 5 months after filing, but it depends if the clock is running or not in your case. That's a more complicated concept. You should really, if you're doing an asylum case, try your best to consult with an attorney. There's a lot of pro bono free organizations that can help you, but these questions are better answered in private with a lawyer. Kurvas, when will the Social Security office open? I don't know. I'm not in charge of that place. Lesbon says, what is update on F2A case? I mean, it will open on. F2A has been open. I'm not sure what your question means. You can submit your I-130 F2A category whenever the USCIS does their opens. I mean, USCIS could approve an F2A, maybe not, but it just depends. Whenever the situation of COVID-19 gets better, then you can do an interview. Let's see. And then says, biometrics are open when it opens. How long does it take to bring a sibling to the United States? I don't know, it could be 12 to 20 years or more. It depends on what country they're from. Manu says, when will the New York immigration courts open? Whenever, COVID-19. It's all COVID-19, guys. Come on. Like, when will we stop worrying about not wearing a mask when we go out? I don't have an answer to that. You need to think these things through when you ask them. Can the case of a marriage to a U.S. citizen to military be different faster? Potentially can be made faster, not really. They're pretty strict about expediting, but what's the rush? Just start your case and it'll happen when it happens. I mean, people are such a rush. It'll happen when it happens. Haram says, hey, I want to know what's the fees for filing petition for my husband in Pakistan. I don't talk about fees here. We have to schedule a consultation. There is a consultation fee. Once I know about your case, I can break down the estimates and everything with you and your spouse, but that's that. Nadisha asks, can an F1 student file for asylum? Well, anyone can file for asylum. It depends on your personal circumstances. What is the issue at asylum? And also something called the 1 year rule. So when you file for asylum, almost always you have to file it within 1 year of entering the United States. If you wait longer, they'll question and maybe deny it, saying, why did you wait so long to file if you had this asylum issue? Unless you can show what's called changed circumstances. So, you could have been in the U.S. As a student visa holder for 5 years, and then in the 6th year, you change your religion all of a sudden and can't go back to your home country. So there's changed circumstances there. Or maybe many years go by and you realize, you're really gay and you don't realize it. And so you're like, I didn't, when I first came the first couple of years, I didn't realize it. But once I got out and about and I realized that if I go to my home country, they'll kill me. So I have to request asylum in the United States. So there's a lot of things we have to look at. But generally, anyone, even if someone who entered without permission, could file for asylum in the United States. President Trump is trying to stop that. Hasn't been successful. Courts have blocked that because of international agreements that we have. But your status whatever your status doesn't matter. Asylum is this big exception that lets you get away with a lot. Live asks, my F2A is with NBC with submitted documents. When do you expect the interview? I've talked about this in length already today. Whenever the embassies are open up, they'll schedule an interview. You just have to be patient. You're welcome, Soars. Love Jinder asks, can I file again for marriage and immigration again? With my partner, I withdrew the case with my ex. I don't know. I have to see your case because they may accuse you of fraud and this kind of stuff. So you should consult with an immigration attorney in private to get that. Princess asks, what's the news with Daca? I already talked about this. I did a recent video. I posted it this morning actually called Daca, My Thoughts. Go on my YouTube page for JQK Law Firm and you'll get my thoughts on that, but there's no real news about Daca. BJ asks, are I-485 processing slow down? Yes and no. It depends on what kind of case you have. Sonia, good to see you too. Thank you for joining. Derek asks, my dad is a U.S. citizen of USA. After he put petition for his brother, now it's been 10 years. How long more to have? I don't know, Derek. As I've mentioned multiple times to you, can't answer questions about timelines here because I need to know more about your family and stuff. You can schedule a consultation, talk about it, but I can't answer timeline questions. Won't be able to help you with that. Okay, so I'm good to see you too. So we have only a couple minutes left. If you have non-timeline related kind of questions or how long things are, let me know and we could discuss it. The Daca situation is a mess. Hopefully some good news comes, but you never know what's going to happen with the court. So, that's what my video was about that I put out this morning, which is try to just rely on yourself and make a life for yourself regardless of if Daca works or not or what happens. But you can listen to it there. Thanks, Dari. Leb asks, I heard there's a hold on green card cases. That's a rumor. That was a bad article. There's a hold on the interviews because they're focusing on citizenship interviews. Nazir asks, what is the news about rescheduling naturalization interviews, please? Yes, the news is USCIS has a priority, and this will be the last question for today. The priority for interviews, in-person interviews that have been shut down for the last 3 months because of COVID-19, is to get the backed up U.S. citizenship naturalization cases going. So the priority of local USCIS offices is to set up the citizenship cases, get that backlog down, and then think about doing adjustment of status, green card kind of interviews. And so there's going to be a delay in the green cards, and I think that's what this one article by his publishing company called Roll Call, they said, green cards are shut down. That's not the case. They're just holding off on doing the interviews. Essentially shut down, but their argument is that we're going to deal with citizenship cases first. So I'll take maybe one or two more questions. Sonia asks, my father right now in Bangladesh, he has a green card. His 1 year will finish this September. He's going to have to try to get himself to the United States. If it goes over a year, just talk with the officers. Hopefully they won't be strict about that. But you always want to get a re-entry permit if you're going to be outside the United States for too long. I'm going to post a video about re-entry permits in the next 24 hours on my YouTube page, JQK Law Firm. You can check that out, some information about that. But that's the thing, you got to get a re-entry permit so you don't have to worry about this 1 year deadline, and don't spend so much time outside. Your father, by being out that long, even past 6 months, is going to have issues with getting citizenship. It's going to reset the clock for him to apply for citizenship. So that's unfortunate, but that's the situation there. Cheshire asks, how good English I can foster citizenship? How good your English have to be? There's no measure of saying it's a 4 or 5 or 6. You got to be able to communicate with somebody well enough, and so that's that. That's something we could feel out when we talk in person. We could do a video consultation to test it out to see how you come off and how well you answer the questions. But there's no measurement of saying you need to be 5% good at English or 30% good at it. It's impossible. So you just got to talk with them. Okay, you're welcome, Nazir. Sora says we should keep praying to be safe at Corona. Everybody issue over here. Yeah, pray for real. This is you just hear people passing away from coronavirus, people's parents. It's a terrible situation. User 254, when is USCIS office open? We talked about this a lot. Watch the video for today and watch the video for every day because everyone asks about this and I explain it every day. There's a ton of stuff that can help you there. Cheshire, you're welcome. If you go to my YouTube page, JK Law Firm, I have 2 videos explaining what the USCIS opening is there. So just go and subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube, JQK Law Firm, and you'll get these videos and look in the case history. You'll see my video where I talked about that. Dari, don't be scared. We'll see what happens, but consult with an immigration or private to prepare for things that could happen. The last question from Waldina says, I filed my I-130 I-485 combo. This is a family-based green card in the United States and Virginia, but I plan to move to Maryland. Will this slow down the process? Potentially, depending on where your case is. If it's at a local office and you move and they have to ship it from one office to another, it can potentially cause a delay to your case, and you have to make sure things don't get lost in the process. And this is why you should have a lawyer in all cases. Just for the sake of having a lawyer, watch out for the case and be on top of it. Maybe most likely it'll cause some delay. Just hope that it doesn't cause too much delay and the file doesn't get lost in the way, because that does happen when you're moving offices. I did a video on that too. I posted it a couple days ago, or maybe I'm posting it today. Again, just follow YouTube, JK Law Firm. I have a explanation. Oh no, I did the captions for it. I haven't posted it yet. But it explains moving offices, what kind of issues exist to prepare for. I really go over it. Haas, you're welcome. I appreciate that. And thank you everyone for joining for YouTube. It was a pleasure. We're going to have the recording of this edited, posted on YouTube in a day or two, JQK Law Firm. Please join there and subscribe and get the community going there as well. Thank you for everyone who TikTok who joined and asked questions on Immigration Lawyer John. And thank you for everyone on YouTube, JK Law Firm. Thank you, Darg. I appreciate that. And I guess so tomorrow I'll be back 5 p.m. Pacific. half an hour shot there, Monday through Friday, going live. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we're going to be on Instagram. Yeah, JQK Law Firm on Instagram live then. Bring your questions. I'll be on TikTok too. You can bring your questions there as well. Until next one, God bless, be safe, and I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.